In the quiet folds of existence, there arrive those tender yet turbulent interludes when the soul bears an invisible burden, when thoughts whirl like autumn leaves in an unrelenting gale, and every remedy you grasp slips through your fingers, leaving only echoes of unrest. You reach out to companions, weaving conversations as lifelines. You chase diversions, piling activities high to bury the ache. You immerse yourself in the frenzy of doing anything to outrun the shadow within. Yet that unyielding heaviness lingers, a silent sentinel refusing to yield. It is in these very sanctuaries of struggle that the divine, in his boundless compassion, has stationed a portal mere inches from your grasp, a threshold unadorned yet immense, brimming with grace, so profoundly accessible that multitudes pass it by, their footsteps quickened by distraction, oblivious to the key it holds. This gateway, unassuming in its simplicity, is none other than Istighfar, the humble invocation of Astaghfirullah, seeking forgiveness from the all-forgiving. A solitary utterance of these words can hoist the millstone that has pressed upon your spirit for seasons untold. It possesses the alchemy to mend what has calcified within, to unfurl doors sealed by doubt, to shield you from tempests you never saw brewing, and to draw you, thread by gentle thread, back into the embrace of the one who never strays. No soul is beyond its reach. It beckons the wanderer adrift in fog, the seeker craving illumination, the weary one yearning for safeguards, abundance, and an intimacy with the Creator that transcends the ordinary. Once its essence unfolds before you, Istighfar reveals itself not as a fleeting ritual, but as the most exquisite endowment bestowed upon this fleeting life, a companion for every breath, a balm for every bruise. So many wanderers chase serenity in every shadowed corner except the luminous path of return. They court illusions in spectacles and clamor, in dialogues that skim the surface, in ceaseless motion that masquerades as progress, all while the true remedy pulses quietly from within. Peace does not erupt from external clamor. It blooms in the heart's hushed surrender. Picture this. In the hush following a sincere plea for pardon, the chest that once constricted eases, as if an unseen hand has lifted the load. The mind, once ensnared in endless loops of apprehension, begins to unwind, its frenzy yielding to a measured rhythm. Worries, those relentless nomads, settle into stillness, not because the tempests dissolve in an instant, but because the heart no longer shoulders them in isolation. Istighfar transcends mere petition for absolution. It is a profound homecoming, a pivot toward the sovereign who orchestrates every thread of your narrative. It is the soul's quiet decree. O Allah, I release this into your vast care. I trust beyond what my eyes behold. Even if the circumstances cling stubbornly unchanged, even if the outcomes you envision remain veiled, the instant of this turning plants a seed of serenity. Allah, in His wisdom, responds not always with immediate alteration of the outer world, but with an inner alchemy that fortifies. It signals that He has already set in motion a lifting of burdens from your trail, a reconfiguration of trials, a herald of ease drawing nearer, though its form may elude your sight for now. This is the inaugural mercy, not the erasure of hardship, but the infusion of resilience to bear it with grace, the sharpening of insight to navigate with clarity, the rooting of patience to stand unswayed, the enveloping assurance of being cradled in His eternal hold. From this wellspring flows a cascade of renewal, light seeping into the heart's crevices, tranquility threading through your reflections, tenderness reclaiming the spirit's core. This is why the righteous, those attuned to the divine rhythm, turn to Istighfar amid frequent adversities. They recognize that trials are not isolated blows. They are invitations from Allah Himself. When the world tilts into chaos, when direction blurs and the next step falters, commence with Astaghfirullah. For often, the solace that washes over you in its wake is the prelude to deliverance, a whisper that the Creator has already commenced unraveling your knots, long before the dawn of resolution breaks. Envision those chapters of life where you pour forth every reserve of will and wisdom. Meticulous blueprints laid, relentless pursuits launched, sacrifices etched into your being, counsel sought from every sage, innovations tested in the forge of desperation. You labor through the veil of night, reshaping strategies, summoning every ounce of ingenuity, yet the landscape refuses to shift as if an unseen dam holds back the flow. Herein lies one of the most profound mercies extended to the faithful. Certain avenues do not yield to human striving alone. they respond to the vibration of Istighfar. The Quran illuminates this truth through the luminous tale of Prophet Nuh, peace upon him, revealing that seeking forgiveness ushers in realms beyond mere cleansing. It summons cascades of bounty, vistas of possibility, and revelations you could never architect through toil alone. To his people he proclaimed, "Seek forgiveness from your Lord, and he will grant you abundant rain, enrich you with possessions and offspring, bestow upon you gardens and rivers." This decree unveils how Istighfar dissolves the ethereal obstacles veiling your destiny, those spectral hurdles of the spirit, the emotional labyrinths, the intangible writs etched in fate's scroll. It clears them layer by luminous layer. Sometimes the void in your endeavors stems not from deficient labor, but from a frayed tether to the divine. Your spirit races ahead, yet the soul lingers unmoored. Your hands toil ceaselessly, but the tongue falls mute in remembrance. Your intellect schemes with fervor while the heart withholds its plea for mercy. When you initiate with Astaghfirullah, you declare with raw vulnerability, "O Allah, I have faltered, the remainder is yours." This yielding of striving, this fusion of endeavor and entreaty, beckons divine intervention. It summons conduits once barred, alliances unforeseen, prospects that bloom from barren soil, surges of support that reshape stagnation into momentum. There are souls who grapple for epochs with unyielding thorns, fiscal tempests that erode foundations, emotional fissures that scar the dawn, familial tempests that fracture harmony, plateaus of inertia laced with bewilderment. Yet in the tender rhythm of habitual Istighfar the currents begin to turn. Relief unfurls not solely for the contrite over lapses, but for the beleaguered, the fatigued, the ensnared, the one whose path feels barricaded by invisible walls. Toil is indispensable, a sacred thread in the believer's weave, but exertion severed from Allah's compassion mirrors the futile shove against a bolted gate. Istighfar is the master key that turns the lock. Thus, when your trajectory constricts, when advancement crawls like a shadowed crawl, when aspirations hover just beyond grasp, and when despondency whispers of defeat, unfurl your plea instantly. There come epochs when the spirit dims into numbness, its vitality leached without fanfare or fathomable cause. Devotions weigh like anchors rather than wings. The Quran's cadence drifts into remoteness. Supplications echo hollow in the chamber of the soul. Even noble deeds, once buoyant with joy, settle as burdens upon the breast. This estrangement arises not from Allah's withdrawal, for He, the ever-near, never distances Himself from His servants, but from the gradual accretion of veils upon the heart. Over time, strata of strain, disillusion, overlooked missteps, diversions, and benign neglect accumulate, much as fine dust mantles a once pristine mirror, dulling its gleam. Istighfar descends as the merciful downpour, not merely soliciting pardon, but liberating the heart to respire freely once more. It sweeps away the opacity that severs your sense of proximity to the divine, burnishing the inner lens so that guidance may pierce through unhindered. A heart left untended hardens not in cataclysmic rupture, but in the subtle drift of daily forgetfulness, instants of oversight, routines that sideline the eternal. Yet softness, that delicate bloom, reclaims its throne incrementally. One of the most enchanting pathways Allah forges to reclaim the heart is through earnest Istighfar. With each invocation the spirit lightens, remorse softens from a jagged edge to a gentle nudge, cognition sharpens into lucid streams, the essence awakens to subtle harmonies. You perceive the shift. Yesterday's prostration, leaden and labored, today flows with unexpected solace. Verses once traversed in haste now resonate with profound depth, stirring the depths as if whispered directly to your core. This is Istighfar's quiet sorcery, restoring the heart to its native receptivity, where it can commune, absorb, and bask in the divine's boundless grace. A rigid heart renders existence arduous, not solely in sacred spheres, but in the tapestry of emotions, thoughts, bonds, and daily rhythms. Conversely, a yielding heart infuses life with buoyancy, for it perceives every facet through the prism of mercy. The swiftest route to such suppleness demands no exhaustive discourse, no labyrinthine regimen, no spark of fleeting zeal. It is the unpretentious, heartfelt murmur of Astaghfirullah. As this practice weaves into your cadence, the transformation unfolds like dawn over mist-shrouded valleys. Greater humility graces your steps, forgiveness flows more readily from your lips, gratitude swells unbidden, hope kindles afresh. The believer graced with such tenderness navigates tempests not with unyielding armor, but with poised endurance, tasting the ambrosia of nearness to Allah amid the gale. Thus, whenever disconnection creeps in, when rights feel barren and the heart heavy, initiate with Istighfar. For in its echo the soul recalls, a heart that turns to Allah endures no prolonged frost. Life brims with overt skirmishes, tangible trials, mounting pressures, the ebb of resilience, but it harbors subtler foes as well. Perils that slink unseen, hazards scripted to ensnare without warning. Tests arrive, and in their passage, Allah's safeguarding envelopes. A single, fervent shiver of the Prophet's counsel endures. Allah inflicts no chastisement upon a people through forgetfulness alone. This simple rite erects an impervious bulwark, a luminous shield encircling your realm. Perils ordained to assail may falter at its border, diverted by the one who hears your plea. You may glimpse the averted strike, a peril you sensed approaching only to watch it dissolve before contact. A scheme that unravels inexplicably, leaving you adrift in mild bewilderment, only later to uncover the concealed toxin it bore. A misguided alliance, a deceptive prospect, a errant crossroads, a trajectory laced with unseen thorns. Your Istighfar may have been the unseen sentinel realigning your course. It extends its vigil to the mind's fragile precincts, warding against tempests of desolation, the sludge of emotional overload, the insidious murmurs of despair. When the heart anchors to Allah via this bridge of beseeching, the adversary finds scant crevices to infiltrate. This guardianship cradles your intimacies, your hearth, your kin, your vitality, your fleeting hours, and the horizons yet to unfold. Struggles you sidestep entirely may trace their evasion to the quiet constancy of, "O Allah, forgive me." In response, the divine tends to the one who invokes with tenderness and subtlety. Safety woven into their wanderings, repose amid ailments, lucidity threading their deliberations, radiance kindling their core. Protection manifests not always in thunderous displays. Often, it is the harm deferred, the ordeal that never crests your shore, the stranger who veers from your orbit, the sorrow you are spared. At times, it is preemptive fortification, steeling your sinews so that when the crucible arrives, you stand not shattered but sovereign. This is the quiet assurance of the one who habituates Istighfar. They traverse the unknown not armored in self-assured might, but enveloped in the certainty of their guardian's gaze. Thus, when uncertainty clouds the vista, when tomorrow's silhouette blurs, when dread takes root and the cosmos presses close, amplify your plea. For Allah's aegis precedes the storm, fortifying long before the winds howl. No matter the chasm you perceive, be it the chill of ritual devoid of fervor, the gnaw of remorse without renewal, the void where zeal once burned, you stand not condemned. Distance is not dismissal. It is an interlude, a summons to bridge the span. The adversary may taunt with litanies of your stumbles, urging exile into error's fold, but Allah anticipates your pivot. He flings wide the portal before your faltering knock, extends welcome ere your voice quavers, and meets your stride with open arms. The most elemental conduit back to the divine is Istighfar. No elaborate prelude required, no flawless blueprint, no protracted vigil, no hallowed nook. All it craves is a heart laid bare and a phrase pregnant with eternity. Astaghfirullah. This invocation cradles infinities. O Allah, I have erred. O Allah, I falter. O Allah, I yearn for you. O Allah, restore me to your side. And the response cascades forthwith, not deferred to dawns unborn, not contingent on penance or postponement, not after trials of waiting. In the breath you exhale it, something stirs. Proximity blooms in the heart's hidden alcoves. A veil of disconnection rends. A fragment of tomorrow gleams brighter. It eradicates not only the blemish of lapse but the phantom of remoteness, the specter of unworthiness. Multitudes hesitate at the threshold of return, convinced they must first ascend to flawlessness. Yet Allah seeks no pedestal of perfection, only the authenticity of approach. One genuine turning toward him eclipses 1,000 gestures hollowed by absent intent. No matter the expanse you sense, the distance resides not in his mercy, which spans universes in an instant, but in the heart's momentary eclipse. The soul that ventures back unearths a revelation luminous. Nearness to Allah hinges not on unblemished deeds, but on the courage to commence anew. When the divine murmurs that your frailties bar his affection, Let silence be your retort. Then utter Astighfirullah and witness the illusion shatter. If a solitary ember endures from this reflection, let it be this: harbor no disdain for Istighfar's modesty. It is no trivial murmur, no salve reserved for guilt's sharpest pangs. It is the soul's vital artery, a mending poultice, a bastion against the fray, a summons to cascades of favor, repose, and an embrace with the eternal that redefines the possible. When existence bows heavy upon your shoulders, breathe Astighfirullah. When the compass spins in lost terrain, breathe Astighfirullah. When the heart craves the silk of softness, breathe Astighfirullah. When portals slam in your path, breathe it still, for Allah turns no earnest heart away no matter how oft it has roamed. Your yesteryears do not dictate your dawn, your stumbles do not revoke your belonging, your wanderings do not erase your inscription in grace. What endures is your return, even if distilled to a whisper. Let Istighfar be your steadfast ally, your solace in solitude, your rhythm in repose, unlocking vistas of clarity and peace you once deemed unattainable. May the most merciful render our tongues ever attuned to remembrance, our hearts ever yielding and shielded, our journeys ever aglow with the dawn of forgiveness.